Hi, this is Sandy and Talk of Thailand. Maybe you're thinking about purchasing a drone at some stage to help with the YouTube or to take some film, etc., aerial film. If you're interested in it, I'd like to tell you about my experience here buying a drone in Pattaya in Thailand. And if you want to know about that, keep watching and I'll be happy to tell you. Hello there folks, this is Sandy, we are Talk of Thailand, and today I'm going to talk about drones actually. Drones are a subject that must be close to most people's hearts that are doing external YouTube videos in the countryside, etc. I have used them a couple of times. And I've done quite a bit of research on them as well, and I decided maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago I was going to buy myself a new drone. It's no small expense, but as I say, if you want to take your external videos to a different level, so to speak, up the way, then you're going to need a drone. It can get very boring for viewers just to be watching you riding a motorbike or a car, etc., and only seeing you or seeing what you're pointing at. Better if you can get a good aerial view of what's going on it sometimes as well. So, as I say, 3 weeks ago I decided I was going to get myself a drone, and I've done a lot of research, and I decided that there were some fairly inexpensive options, but really we were looking at some of them were just toys actually for children, and if you wanted to get some professional features and get a lot of the proper advantages that you need, then you had to go a bit more upmarket. So eventually I went down to the big computer store here in Pattaya, and I decided that I was going to get the DJI Mavic Air 2, which was retailing about 34,900 bahts with the Fly More option. That's a couple extra batteries, a case and some other bits and pieces that lets you get additional flight time when you're out filming instead of having just one battery. So I decided that's what I was going to do, and I went down to see them in the DJI shop in Tukkom here. I don't want to go into the ins and outs in the shop too much, because I found the attitude of the salesman very, very bad. Pathetic. He should never have been a salesman. But anyway, besides that, they did sell the products that I wanted, so I didn't really have much option actually, and I decided that I was going to take the as I say, the Mavic Air 2. The problem was 34,900 they didn't have, because the one that they had in stock was with a new controller type and a bigger, more enhanced controller, and that was an additional 10,000 bahts above. So the total price was 44,500. Well, that's well over £1,000 actually. And I did question myself considerably before I made the decision. I thought, will I, won't I, blah blah blah. And then I thought, okay, let's just bite the bullet, let's get it, and let's get going, because we were also going to go on holiday at that time, and I thought I wanted to get some good aerial photography when we were away. So I got the drone, and I paid for it, and the first thing I didn't like about this shop was because of the size of the drone. It weighed nearly half a kilo actually, which is not heavy, but it's above 250 grams, so it has to be properly registered here in Thailand. Now, registration's free, but you do have to have an insurance policy as well, which is about 1,200 bahts, and I thought, okay, if it's got to be done, it's got to be done. So after I'd paid for this drone and they were making out the receipts and everything, I said, can I have my bank card back? They said, oh no, you still got to pay for the registration and everything. Now, I'd already read about registration, and I knew that the actual registration was free, but you did need the insurance policy, which was 1,200, as I say, 1,200 bahts. So I said to the salesman in the shop, I said, well, how much is this registration going to cost? And he said, oh, about 4,500 bahts. I said, but the insurance is only 1,200 and the registration is free. He said, oh, but we have a service charge for doing it for you. I said, I've just bought the drone from you. You cannot do this. It's only a case of doing it on a computer, a fairly short job. And he said, no, that's what we charge people. I'd heard that there was this problem with some of the DJI shops. Some of them are very good and some of them are fucking pathetic, and it just so happens that this one in Pattaya is the latter type. So anyway, I said, okay, don't bother about that, I'll do it myself, and I took the drone away. So I spent the rest of that day setting it all up, charging the batteries. It's a fair bit of work, and you've got to download all the updated firmware for the drones and the controllers, etc. So it took about 3-4 hours to do all that and get it all charged up. And then when I went to test the drone, it wasn't working, and I was getting an error signal saying you have a downward sensor error. So I phoned up the shop and I said, look, I've got this error, and they said, oh, you have to bring it in and we'll look at it. Okay. So the next morning I took the drone back into the shop and sat there for about 3.5 hours while this guy, the nasty, fucking horrible guy, there's two salesmen work there. One of them's in the afternoon, one of them's in the morning. The nasty, horrible one was in the morning that time, and the decent guy didn't come on to the afternoon. Anyway, this guy farted around with it for 3 hours and made several phone calls and all the rest of it, and then said, okay, there's a defect on it, we're going to have to send it away. I said, well, really? I said, I'll take a refund then. He said, oh, no. He said, we'll get it fixed for you. I said, well, I want it fixed before I go on Friday. Now this was the Thursday morning, and I was going on holiday on a Friday. I said, I want it fixed more or less today. He said, no problem, we'll get it fixed today. So I waited, and then they couldn't get it fixed. Some more phone calls, etc. went on, and they then told me that they'd have to send it to the DJI workshops to get it checked out. Oh, I said, well, give me another one. They said, we don't have another one in stock. Shit. I said, well, what are we going to do about this? And I said, I don't really have time to go and buy another one now. He said, well, where are you going? I said, well, we're going up north in Thailand. He said, right. He said, leave it with me. He says, I'll get it sent to you at your hotel by Sunday. And this is on the Thursday afternoon. I thought, okay. I said, I'll go with that. He said, well, that's fair. That gives us a chance to keep the money and not have to refund it, and it gives you your drone. So these things do happen, and I said, okay, we'll go for that. He said, but it won't be the same one you'll get. He said, we'll get you a brand new drone in all sealed up in a new box and everything like that, and it won't be the same drone you get. So well, that's even better, because I kind of lost faith. It must have been a Friday drone or a Monday drone that was I'd bought the first time, where everybody's rushing away or coming back from the weekend. There's not a great deal of interest in quality assurance. So he promised me to do that, and then a few phone calls, etc. And then I saw his mood change, and he said, well, if I can't get it to you on Sunday, he said, I'll get it to you somewhere else on Monday. I said, no, I want it on Sunday. That's the deal. He said, okay, that's the deal, but I'll get it to you somewhere else on Monday. I said, no. I said, listen to me. I said, listen to what I'm saying. I said, I want that drone by Sunday at my hotel where I'm going to be. Okay, we'll do it. And that was it. But I knew right away that it was going to be a fucking problem. So we on the Friday we set off, blah blah blah, and on the Sunday, of course, it didn't arrive. And on the Sunday night, I'm chasing them, and they said, "Oh, we'll try and get it to you later in the week." And I'm getting really, really pissed off by this stage, and I said, "Okay." I said, if it's not here by Monday before I leave, I said, I want a full refund, and I'll buy another drone from close to where I am. So it didn't come. And then when I rang up, I said, "Okay, I'm going to buy another drone. I want a refund." "No, you can't have a refund. We'll get you another drone." I said, "Sorry." I said, "My customer writes, I've been sold something that doesn't work, and I'm entitled to a refund." It took me 2 days to get them to refund the money. It was terrible, actually, pathetic. So anyway, let's forget that story, because when I came back, actually, I'd done a bit more research on other drones, and in some way it was a little bit of a godsend for me, because I decided, I was reading the YouTube reports on the new DJI Mini 2, and it's got superb write-ups, and they say it's as good as some of the much more expensive drones, and it's much cheaper. In fact, in the DJI shops, the Mini 2 with the extra fly gear, it costs 19,000 bahts. So I thought, right, okay, that's what I'm going to get. So I contacted this fucking horrible, excuse me swearing, this horrible shop here in Pattaya again. I said, "Right, do you have this in stock?" Unfortunately, it was a nice guy that was there, and he said, "Yes, I have." He said, "I've got that." He says, "I've also got the Air with the normal controller." I said, "Well, wonderful." I said, "Tomorrow," I said, "I'll come in." I said, "I think I'm going to go for the Mini 2, which is much cheaper than even the Air 2. The Air 2 was 34,900, and this one was only 19,000. And the 19,000 one was going to do all the things plus that I wanted it to do. So I said, I'll probably go for the Mini, but I'll be in tomorrow, and we can look at the both suggestions. So the next day, which was 2 days ago, I went back to the shop, and I went in and I spoke to them, and both salesmen were there. One was just going off, the horrible, nasty little shit was just going off, and the good guy was just coming on. Now, I was confronted by the two elements, the good and the bad. And immediately the bad started into my face. "Why are you coming here to buy a drone? You told me my service was rubbish." I said, "Your service was terrible, and your attitude's terrible." He said, "Well, why are you here?" I said, "Because I've come to buy a drone." I says, "Nothing to do with the shop or your attitude. I've come here to buy something." Another guy said to me, he chirped, and as I walked up to where all the drones were sitting, he said, "I'm afraid I've got to tell you that we sold the DJI Mini 2 this morning, and we've only got the Air, the Mavic Airs left." I said, "Okay, forget it. I'm out of here." And this little shit was glaring at me. I says, "You need to get another job, pal. This environment doesn't suit you at all." And he just glared, so I walked off. Anyway, that was another godsend, actually, because when I got home, I started looking again on the internet, and of course these DJI shops are all selling the same things at the same prices, exactly the same prices. And then I just happened to notice an advert on Google for Power Buy here in because I'd done a search for the model that I was looking for, and a Power Buy advert come up selling this drone, the exact drone I was looking for 17,100 bahts, 2,000 bahts cheaper than I was going to be paying for it. So I went online, I went to their site, I put it in the cart, and then I checked out and I paid for it, and it's arrived today. So that was very fortuitous, actually, because I've saved myself 2,000 bahts from these pricks that are down in the store down in Pattaya here, and I recommend anybody that wants to buy a drone, get it from Bangkok or get it from us. Try to avoid these pricks down there, because there's one good guy in there and he's very helpful, but if you get the other one, then he's a nasty little shit. So anyway, my drone's arrived, and in my next video we'll go into the unboxing of it and the setting it up, because you might be interested in this drone. Let me just say, look in the YouTube again if you're interested in drones, and look for the DJI Mini 2, which is and the reviews it's got, and then you'll see the reason that I've bought this drone. The great thing also is it's under the 250 grams, so it doesn't have to be registered. Win-win situation, and it's a lovely machine according to the reviews. But let's unbox it later, and I'll show you what we're getting in the box, and then you can decide in due time if that's what you want to invest in. Thank you. Take care. Stay safe. Keep the mask. Wash your hands. Social distancing, particularly here in Thailand, because it's here and it's giving us problems. Thank you. Bye for now.